All right. Good morning, KW Milwaukee, on a gorgeous September 19th on a beautiful Tuesday morning. I'm going to lead it off with one thing right up front. And there was some interesting commentary as it relates to the theme music this morning. And here's what I would tell you. It was intentional and purposeful for one reason. Okay. And I'm going to use a sports analogy. If you have been living under a rock, time to get out from underneath the rock as it relates to paying attention in the college football world. For one reason and one reason only, in which I would tell you to dig in. The song in which I played this morning is a song in which that Deion Sanders plays every single time he finishes his pregame speech to his team to charge him and rally him up. Okay, so for those of you who aren't paying attention to college football, let me give you a little bit of context. For 30 years, Colorado has been horrible. I mean, god-awful. Last year, they were 1-11, okay? The Colorado athletic director took a total chance and hired Deion Sanders, gave him a $38 million contract when he didn't have $38 million worth in his athletic department budget to give him, and he said, we'll hire him and we'll find the way in which we can afford him, okay? Fast pace forward. Deion Sanders enters in week one. They play TCU. For those of you who aren't paying attention, TCU played in the national championship last year. Deion Sanders goes in week one and beats them. Week two, goes out, beats them. Week three, plays Colorado State, beats them. They're 3-0. They're ranked top 15 in the country in a team that was 1-11. Here's my purpose behind why it is that I played the theme music this morning and why, no matter what you think of him, he is a fascinating case study around mental aptitude in the way in which that he views his job and role. Okay. That guy has the most extreme confidence that many people would believe to be arrogance. But here's what I would also tell you if you pay any attention to him. You notice nothing out of his mouth other than positivity, the way in which that he believes in his people, and he gives them a breath of life and fresh air in which that, quite frankly, very few are able to do. And what he's done right now, it's a fascinating case study on positive mental attitude, the way in which that you approach others, and the way in which that you can breed confidence into others to get them to do things they wouldn't have otherwise done. And I'll tell you, you should pay attention purely, even if you hate football, purely pay attention in the way in which that he operates his business, because it's a business. Don't get it twisted. Watch the way in which he operates his business, and he is capturing America's attention. I mean, heck, many of you know I've talked about it. I'm a 60 Minutes watcher. He was the feature story on 60 Minutes on Sunday night. So pay attention. It's the reason I played the song is I'm watching everything he's doing in the way in which that he shows up, not about the football, but everything he does outside of football and how it can correlate to the way in which that we lead ourselves, lead our businesses, lead our families, and how it can transcend what it is that we do. All right, moving on from that. Here we go. Mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. Part of it is giving back and into our communities and teamwork. Together, everyone achieves more. So I'm going to flip it over to Mandy because Mandy has a little bit of an update as it relates to our serving community and how we're as an opportunity for you guys to jump in to serve our KW Milwaukee communities. Mandy, I'm flipping it to you.
Good morning. We have 3 more excellent opportunities at the end of the year to jump on board with the serving committee. We're headed back to the Milwaukee Rescue Mission. We've been a few times this year. I see a couple of you who've been there before and have said that it was just such an incredible experience. So 5 people, 3 shifts that are open. We meet our hurting neighbors where they are in their community. We're serving meals. They provide 800 meals per day. They provide shelter for 57,000 people or 57,000 nights and have donated 45,000 articles of clothing each year. So we give our time. We go, we meet with them, we serve lunch. It's from 10:45 to 12:45. If you want to scan that QR code, the shifts fill up pretty fast if you sign up, and it's first come, first serve. There's some other shifts. We'll look at maybe scheduling some more dates or letting you know when the next opportunities are. So if you want to go, I think I have one more slide as well, Charlie. I just want to give a shout out to a few members of our serving committee who will be the representatives for KW on site that day. So we have Sarah Oberbrunner, October 5th. She's looking for 5 volunteers. October 19th, we have Sharice Giangreco and also Sarah Joe that day. And then on October 26th is Connie Cummings. So they're looking for 5 people to meet them, help serve food, give back with their time, and lift some people up. So if you want to scan that, we'd really appreciate it. 3 more dates this year, and then we'll release some more times. Yeah. I like it. The phones are out.
Here's what you need to know. Playing on my theme music and the theme of Deion Sanders and everything, you need a healthy reset as it relates to your perspective. Go volunteer at the Milwaukee Rescue Mission. It will really put into perspective as to what difficult is or what hard is, or it will also make you take note, or it will allow you to leave with gratitude in a way in which that you may not have otherwise had before you walked in there. And I'll tell you, I've never met anybody who's gone and served in these ways with these ladies where they left and felt like it was a waste of their time. So need a little bit of way in which that you feel like you give back in order to reset your mindset. Help support these on April 5th, 19th, and 26th as a way to give back to our communities. All right, here we go. Save the date. Holiday party, Friday, December 1st. Be there, be square. St. Kate's Arts Hotel. Really, really cool venue. Looking forward to it in downtown Milwaukee in an easy and accessible way. Lastly, I'm going to give a shout. Well, let me rephrase that. I had someone yesterday who is what I believe to be a pretty engaged person within our community say, hey, I need to submit excluded listings. How are we doing that now? And I was like, perfect. Let me send you the link as to how we do it. So you don't know how to do it, make sure you're paying attention to Willis's emails that come out on Fridays and Mondays. We'll get you the link, and that always on Monday afternoons to Tuesdays, once we clean it up, we'll send you out the excluded listings, things that are off market, things that are coming. Make sure you submit it so we can share the information in order to get you guys what you want and need. Cool? Beautiful. With that, we have 19 people to celebrate because despite the fact that August was down 20%, we had a community that was incredibly successful. And I'll share that with you here at the end as it relates to August results and awards. But up front, I want to celebrate 19 people who capped in the month of August. First up, an individual who's been in our community over in KW and Innovation almost since day one, back when we were in our tiny space in North Ave, been in this business for a long time across a couple different brokerages and held leadership positions. Nancy Brennan, congrats on capping in the month of August. Next up, a mother of 5 is my next door neighbor. I see her every day, working her butt off, chasing 5 kids, selling a big book of business. Maggie Drain, congrats on capping in the month of August. Next up, I considered him to be the Bruce Springsteen of our community. Calm, cool, and collected. Nick Fetting, congrats on capping in the month of August. Next up, everyone's favorite Badger. She played soccer at the University of Wisconsin, a mother of 4. Her husband runs a really big business downtown on Water Street, on a variety of different restaurants between Trinity, the Harp, and everything in between. Congrats, Lauren Foy, on capping in the month of August. Next up, here's what I love about new people. New people have total naivete as it relates to what it is that they should be doing, and those that fail forward have massive success. Steve Law, congrats on capping in the month of August. Here we go. Next up, over in KW Innovation, Amy Merrick, an incredible woman who's built an incredible business over in the Elm Grove community, leveraging and leaning into the Marquette High community in a variety of other ways. Amy Merrick, congrats on capping in the month of August. Here you go. Next up, Fu. Fu's got an incredible story, has incredible corporate background, worked in a variety of different retailers, came into this business about a year ago, has had a lot of success. Fu, congrats on capping in the month of August. Next up, here's the, I would say the king and queen of the Wisconsin Badger fan club, and also the mother hen and of the KW Innovation office, Judy and Joe Pemberton. Congrats on capping in the month of August. Similarly to Fu, here's another person that had a great corporate experience, translated well, and jumped into the game of real estate over in the innovation office. Kelly Nicolancy, congrats on capping in the month of August. All right, here we go. We're halfway through. Stick with me. Okay. Next up, this person came to us and said, hey, I have a young son who's in college, who needs some experience and wants to better understand the real estate game, and he's willing to do whatever. And on day one, I asked him to move 40 boxes into the basement, and I said, congrats on getting your first internship. Here's what I need you to do. Kristen Schlingman, thanks for giving us Drew. Drew was a great ad in our world this summer. It really helped us out in a big way. really sincerely appreciate you seeing a need that we may not have saw and providing a really talented, great individual for us this summer. Kristen Schwingman, congrats on capping in the month of August. Next up, this person is wheeling and dealing in the investment space as well as residential resale space, is building a really nice business, has been #1 in the state of Wisconsin in transactional units for the last 2 years. Holly Speranza, congrats on capping in the month of August. Next up, this person gave a ton to our community last week as it relates to pouring into people as to how she wins her business, how she handles her business, and where she's getting her business from, because 70% of her business is listings. If you missed the conversation, you should check it out. Lori Sroke, congrats on capping in the month of August. All right, here we go. A few more. Next up, out in Lake Country, running a big team, always supporting, a part of the ALC out in Lake Country, Katie Hart-Phillip, congrats on capping in the month of August. Next up, person I always enjoy, have a ton of respect for, always gives me straight feedback as he sees it. Jeff Johns, congrats on capping in the month of August. All right, similarly, someone I like to pick on a little bit because I know he can take it. Andy always gives it back to me. He makes me laugh really hard, and he just opened a coffee trailer because he said, why not? John Lorenz, congrats on capping in the month of August. 4 more. This person is dual career or dual licensed person, just recently moved down to Chattanooga, Tennessee, but is still building an incredible business in southeastern Wisconsin. Allison Maris, congrats on capping in the month of August. Next up, another person, a father of, I believe, 4 or 5, has a farm, believes in hard work, holds his kids accountable. I love picking his brain as it relates to how he parents his kids. Mike Moen, congrats on capping in the month of August. Next up, out in Lake Country still, Katie Thomas, been an incredible member of our community, a great profit share earner. Katie's been a part of the KW community since we were over on Pauling Road, back when it was like basically 200 square feet. Katie Thomas, congrats on capping in the month of August. And then lastly, out in Lake Country, someone who is always willing to give back, is always willing to try things, is always giving of her time, talent, and energies, is Teaching Accelerator. Stacy, congrats on capping in the month of August. Beautiful. What I love about sharing you 19 cappers in the month of August is it means people are having success no matter what is happening or the headwinds that are happening in this business. We'll talk a little bit more about the headwinds and what you should be paying attention to here in a little bit, but congrats to all of those that capped in the month of August. All right, so last week we talked a little bit around winter is coming, okay? And what do you need to be paying attention to? And I challenged the group as it relates to where we sit here in September, as it relates to the fall cleanup and how you're managing your database as the business starts to wind down. Okay, wind down is just velocity of transactions are starting to slow because of the seasonal nature of this business. We're soon heading into the winter renewal where separation is in the preparation, and this is where top agents shine. Quite frankly, you can't hit your annual goals if you don't hit them in the first quarter. What you do to set yourself up now in September is what will ultimately determine your outcome in the first quarter and where it shows up during the winter renewal period. And then everyone enters into the spring and summer explosion. What you do coming out of the explosion, again, the separation is in the preparation. So I shared with you a little around my mindset is around success breeds complacency. Complacency breeds failure. Only the paranoid survive. And I challenge the group as it relates to upcoming trainings and events and an offering that we have available to you. And so I'm going to share that with you here again in a second. But before I do, here's what I need you to know. We have 4 opportunities that are incredible opportunities to help you understand the algorithms and the games in which you can play with social media to help you create a lead generation funnel. Today and tomorrow, this morning in Lake Country, this afternoon, I believe in the North Shore, then tomorrow in Southwest, and then as well as in Tosa. Last time we hosted this, we had 52 people show up. It was one of the highest demand classes we've ever had. We did it once and we said, whoa, we need to bring this back for all 4. And so thank you to Mark and Laura Steele from Prime Lending for bringing this in. It's a great value add and resource to our relationship, right? So make sure you check that out. Here's the September training calendar, okay? A few things that I want to point out for you as it relates to this week. Okay, the social media training this morning, I apologize, I got this a little bit wrong. This morning, it's in Lake Country. This afternoon, it's in Innovation. Tomorrow morning, it's in Southwest. Tomorrow afternoon, it's in the North Shore. Highly encourage you to check it out if you're interested. We tried to bring it to you so that you didn't have to go too far to find it. Make sense? Lastly, Friday, for those of you that are on the invite only, there is a Maureen and Friends this Friday at 10 a.m. So make sure you tune in. Cool? Beautiful. So I got a little out of order, but I talked a little bit around success breeds failure. Only the paranoid survive, right? And I talked a little bit about, it's not just about the results. Here's what you need to know. As of this morning, 60 people are already signed up for Bold, okay? It's not always about the results. It's also about the community. And this is going to parlay into something I'm going to share with you here at the end as it relates to awards. But there's a reason why in which that the market, which was down 20% in August, and our group was up positive in the month of August. That doesn't happen by default. It happens by design. And of the 60 people that have jumped into the Bold room, that represent over $500 million in total closed production so far this year through the month of August. So I always say, who's smarter than me and what are they doing and what do I need to be paying attention to? Because this game is a game of copycats. What cats are you copying? So you have an opportunity. And as I challenged you, and I'm sharing this, and for those of you who are on social media, this is a very famous Bold of some random dude in a park that always says, change my mind. And so mine is Bold delivers results, change my mind. So you have an opportunity. Here's the schedule. We're running it a little differently this year from 8:30 to 1. It's instead of 8:30 to 3. We're going to get you out of there on your way in an efficient manner. You need to know where it is. It's at the Zoo Conference Center. We're running it back. Okay? Make sure you register because it will sell out. Now, if you need a scholarship, here's the scholarship. If you want to donate to a scholarship, donate to a scholarship. You feel me? Beautiful. Trainings and events, that's what you need to know. That's what's upcoming. What you do now in terms of the fall and winter is what will set you up for success in 2024. Cool? All right. With that, Lindsay, what do these guys need to know as it relates to updated agent websites that are just launching this week?
Yeah, you guys, the moment we've all been waiting for. New agent sites in Command were released last week. So super exciting stuff. We've been talking about this since Family Reunion when they kind of teased it a little bit. So they're now out. You now have the ability to go in and actually upgrade your site. So some really cool new features that are a part of those new websites. But really the goal of this site is to provide your clients and consumers the most engaging and meaningful experience. And so some really cool, exciting features. One of the best things I think that's part of this is that you can now create really engaging blog posts to highlight your expertise. You can easily capture more leads in some different ways through your websites. You can highlight your preferred vendors. There's increased flexibility in editing and content management. I think that's one of my other favorite pieces of this is that it's a lot more of a simplified process when you're actually editing your website. There's redesigned property pages with some advanced search features. And then there's a more robust client testimonial section. So some really great stuff in here. And like I mentioned, you can go in right now, log into Command, and you can upgrade your site right now. So next slide, Charlie. Just a couple of things to keep in mind when you do decide to upgrade your site. You will lose access to any current site pages on your website. So if you are using that website right now, I would recommend just going in there, combing through that site, making sure that you're grabbing any content that you do want to keep, copy that over to a Word doc or a Google Doc, and then you can always add that back into your new site once it's upgraded. Landing pages will be no more. Once you upgrade, you will not have landing pages that are part of your site. So it is recommended that you deactivate these, the ones that you no longer use. If you are still using landing pages, just copy over those URLs. Those will remain active. So if you have any current listings that you're using landing pages for, those still will be in effect and accessible. So really simple to go in and upgrade. You log into Command, click into the consumer tab, and you'll see at the top, you now have an option to upgrade my website. You'll follow through the prompts and it'll be a really, really simple process, maybe take you less than 5 minutes to upgrade. So next couple slides, just kind of showing you what that process looks like. So you'll follow through the prompts. The next slide, it'll actually prompt you to verify your site subdomain. So if you want to change that, or you're creating a new one, you'll go in, type that in, and then hit claim your subdomain, and then you're all set. So we do have a lot of different training opportunities just this week. So we've got 2 in-person trainings. So today at 1 o'clock at the North Shore office, I'll be doing an in-person training in the North Shore. And again, tomorrow, Wednesday, the 20th at 2 o'clock at the Innovation office. So North Shore today at 1, and then tomorrow at the Innovation office at 2. And then on Thursday, we'll be doing a Zoom training at 11 o'clock, our normal marketing mastermind times. And then stay tuned for some in-person trainings at the Lake Country and Southwest office. So those are coming probably sometime next week. So stay tuned for those. And if you can't make any of those, of course, our Zoom training is always going to be recorded and uploaded to our YouTube channel. But KWRI also does their own trainings online. That QR code is going to take you to some online signups. And then, so they have their own training as well. So a lot of different opportunities to learn more about the new agent sites. So exciting stuff.
Here you go. Don't overthink it. Here's what I'll tell you. Get it 80% complete and go. Last 20% always takes the most amount of effort. Okay. I'll be honest with you. 99% of your clients aren't making a decision between you, agent A, and agent B because of your agent website. You just have to live in the ethos and the way in which they need to find you. Okay. I see too many agents, really successful agents and new agents who overthink everything. And guess what happens? They have absolutely zero momentum because they're overthinking everything. And then they just never do anything because they're like, oh, it's not perfect. Perfect isn't real. Right? So just get it done. Keep moving. Lean on Lindsay, lean on Wooten and the team, and we'll help you get it done. Cool? Beautiful. All right, here we go. With that, I'm flipping it over to Sheriff Reed. Sheriff Reed, what do these guys need to know as it relates to the compliance updates in order to help these guys maintain their license heading into 2024? Sheriff Reed?
Yeah, thank you, Charlie. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, I get the exciting topic for the day, which is renewing your dues, paying your dues for the GMAR, WRA, and National Association of Realtors. I always do the NRA instead. But those dues are due. There's some changes this year on how they're paid. So that's what we're doing today, is just reminding you about the dates and how to pay them. They're no longer taking checks or credit cards at the office, at the GMAR office. They will no longer mail paper invoices to the members. So what they are doing is when you get your invoice, you can pay with a secure payment process and get it done. And the links are unique for each member. So if you lose your email, you can just contact the office and they can resend it.
Hey, Joan, I'm just gonna jump in on one thing because I've fielded a few questions on this. You have gotten the emails already. It came from a woman by the name of Michelle Cohn, Kohn. It's not spam. Don't worry about it being a virus, because what I want to reiterate is each of these links is unique to your license from a security standpoint, and that's how you'll pay your dues. Make sense? Now, here's what I'm also going to tell you. We're going to talk about this for the next 8 weeks. And I'm going to place $100 bet that we're going to have someone in January call us when their MLS is turned off, and they're going to say, what the heck happened? And we're going to say, oh, you didn't renew your GMAR dues. And they're like, well, I didn't know. And I'll be like, that's all I need to know. So, all right, make sure you pay attention, get your dues done. It's a necessary evil. Here we go. Sheriff?
Right. That's why we're starting in September, to remind you. You get it all put together, you won't be scrambling in those last days. And actually, if you do it early, before the end of the month of October, you get $25 off your total. Work for that. Consider that your deadline, October
What a
31st.
discount. So generous.
But then they give you through the end of November to pay the dues amount that was sent to you. After December 1st, then they give you more to pay $50 for a late fee. So they give you a bonus of $25 if you pay early. They hit you with $50 if you pay late. So shoot for the 31st, get the $25 discount, and have it all done behind you. As Charlie said, they will, when you're late into January, they will turn your MLS off.
Yeah, Joan, I'm just gonna say, we're gonna do an interesting social experiment. Ready?
Got it.
In December, after December 1st, for those that haven't paid, we're just gonna put your names up on a screen every week until your name isn't on the screen. And I'll tell you, it's a fascinating social experiment, because you know how the fastest way people will get their dues paid? Their names will come off the screen. And I learned that because, sidebar story, this is an old school way of doing it. If you ever go downtown to the old Milwaukee Athletic Club and you walk into the elevators, in the elevators, they publicly post the members that haven't paid their dues. And it's fascinating how quickly members pay their dues when their names are on the elevator as they walk in. I don't, they used to, because I had a buddy who was on the elevator and we made fun of him for a long time. All right, sorry, Sheriff, go ahead.
Well, that's it. We just want to remind you, and it seems that this is an annual confusion. This is not renewing your license. That's done every other year. It's only done on the even years. So next year, 2024, is an even year. It's when your CE is due and your license renewal is due. A lot of people confuse these deadlines. Your annual dues are annual, and you have to be paid by the November of that year. Next year, you're talking about license renewal. But straighten it up. We're always here to answer your questions in case this didn't come clear.
Perfect.
Charlie, one more comment.
Yeah.
We'll track all of this through the GMAR. No one needs to send us.
Perfect. Lieutenant Kennard wanted me to remind the group, you don't need to send us if you paid it. We'll track it through the GMAR and then provide weekly updates, because the GMAR will tell us if you paid it or not. So starting December 1, be on the lookout for a very interesting social experiment. Cool. All right. Thanks, Sheriff Reed.
Thank you.
Here we go. So August 2023 insights and trends. Numbers came out. What are we seeing? What are we looking to? Very interesting trends. Some good, some bad, but not bad. Okay. So here we go. Okay. Showing time activity across the state of Wisconsin. It's been, quite frankly, about 8 weeks since I've shared this. Okay. The orange graph is 2023. The light blue graph above it is 2022. The lighter blue graph above it is 2020. And the dark blue graph is 2020. Sorry, 2022. 2021 is above it. Here's what you need to know. Showing time activity across buyers of what they do and how they go into listings is outpacing where we were in 2022. Okay. So despite rates at 7.5%, Jake, is that where we are right now? 7.5%. Buyer activity is still very, very strong based on where we are right now in the industry. It's slightly below where we were in 2020 and 2021, which isn't overly surprising when you're in a rate environment of like 2.8%. However, the fact that we're seeing buyer activity outpacing where we were last year with interest rates that were higher, what that's telling me is buyers are just now coming to the realization the rates are what the rates are, and we're working through the period of which when the rates were rising. Make sense? So units under contract, here we go. I looked back at this for a 2-year period because I thought this helped when I did this last year. In the month of August, there were 1,879 units that went under contract. Okay. When you look at it versus August of last year, it was down 14%. For comparative's sake of when we looked at June and July, that's actually a trend improvement. Trend improvement was June and July, we were looking anywhere between a down 21 and a down 25. So a down 14 is really relatively healthy trend improvement. My challenge to you is there were still 1,879 units that went under contract. How many of those did you get in the month of August? Relatively, okay, and this is what we kind of goes back to what we talked about last week, is if you look at where we were in August of 21, it's down 30%. Okay, is what it is, right? Moving on. 879 units went under contract. Trend improvement versus the last 2 months, positive signs. Now, there's a reason why in which that's showing up, and I'll show that to you here in a second. Sales absorption, okay? This is the percentage of inventory that goes under contract in a given month. August, 31% of the total inventory went under contract in the month of August. Now, over the last 2 years, the average was 30.7%, okay? So we're trending about where we were, and that is basically telling the same story that we're seeing from buyer side activity, that demand really isn't going down relatively. August was down 6% versus last year, which is a very nominal number, and down only 2% versus August of 21. Now, despite the fact that units that went under contract are down 30%. So what this is telling you is the demand of units that are going under contract is just ebbing and flowing with where inventory is that's coming to the market. Okay. Now, as it relates to how this is impacting average days on market, guess what? It really isn't having an impact. The delta on it is 1 day, okay, versus last year, and 1 day versus August of 21. What you can see is over the last 2 years, the average days on market is 31.7 days. In August of this year, it was 28 days. The market's still very effectively moving at an efficient rate, okay? Now, 5-county region area, southeastern Wisconsin, Metro MLS. So months of supply inventory, okay? 6 months of inventory is a balanced market. Less than 6 is a seller's market, more than 6 is a buyer's market. In August, we were at 2 months of supply inventory, which is basically right in line with where the average has been for the last 24 months. When we compare it versus last year, it was 1.8 months of supply. Now we're at 2 months of supply. Big whoop, not that big of a difference, okay? What I'm telling you is demand isn't really subsiding despite the rate environment going to 7.5%. Now, here is the really interesting story, and this is where I think you're going to start to see a little bit of an increase during the fall selling season in September and October. New inventory units in August, there were 2,620 units that came to the marketplace. 2,620 units of new listings came to the market. How many of those did you capture? Okay. The second piece to that, it is basically flat to last year. Last year, there were 2,628 units. We only lost 8 new units this year versus last year. Okay. So what this is telling me is, here's the story. We saw trend improvement of units that went under contract in the month of August because the trend was only down 14%. In September, I would expect units that are going under contract, transactional units, the trend improvement should improve again because new units were flat in August. So there's a little bit of a delay here of when units come to the market, when they go under contract. If the average days is 28 days, you could see that our September and fall in October should theoretically, based on new inventory coming to the market, should be a trend improvement versus where we've seen the last 6 months. Make sense? This is the positive momentum or a little bit of wind in our sails of new inventory units coming to the marketplace. Now, how does this impact total inventory? In August, there were 6,087 units of total inventory on the market within the given month. The latest 24 months average was 5,543. So we're starting to see an increase of total inventory, and we really saw the spike in August of 23. It's only off slightly of where we were last year. Okay. Now, you may, hearing all this, you say, great, how does this impact pricing? Guess what? Hint, hint, prices are still appreciating. Okay. The average across the 5-county metro area was 365,000. That's up 10% versus August of last year, and it's up 16% versus August of 21. Now, the median number is probably the most relevant number because it takes off the extremes, and the median is directly in the middle. The median in August was 308,000. That was up 10% versus August of 22 and up 19% versus August of 21. So time in the market beats timing the market. Time in the market beats timing the market. Okay. It's a great appreciation story, one of the things I am paying attention to, if you're paying attention to the national macro data, is some of the Southwestern cities, specifically Austin and Phoenix, are starting to see depreciating values. Okay. They have other macroeconomic trends and factor in play down there, but it's something I'm paying attention to as we head into 2024 and how that impacts our market. But I can tell you from a price appreciation, Southeastern Wisconsin is very, very strong and continues to be. Now, as it relates to price per square foot, again, Econ 101, simply supply and demand, low supply, high demand. Demand is all the metrics we look at still remains relatively strong. I apologize. This should be August, not July. August of 23, the price per square foot in the Southeastern Wisconsin metro area was $109 per square foot. That was up 8% versus August of last year and up 15% versus July of 21. So demand still remains relatively healthy. New inventory units that are coming on the market were basically flat versus last year. That should set us up for good conversion of units that went under contract in the months of September and October. And we'll be paying attention to some of the macro trends that are going on as to where and when that may creep into our Southeastern Wisconsin metro area. Make sense? Beautiful. So I talked about GCI last week. I talked about profit share this week. All very, very positive in markets that were down 14%. The fact that we are paying out more GCI this month or this August than we were last year in a market that was down 14 is a true testament to who you guys are and what you're about. And I want to transition that into a little bit of a story that someone shared with me relatively recently. Okay. And I want to share this in a way in which I want you to think about it in two ways. One, your business will grow to the extent that you do. You will grow to the extent of those who you surround yourself with. Okay. Something I firmly believe in. Two, it also helps me frame up and think about, should I be in bold this fall or should I not be in bold this fall? Totally cool. Life's about choices. I'm not here to sell you on it. I'm just here to help you think about it. Okay. The other aspect of it is when we look at the August and year-to-date results and rewards here in a second, it also helps you realize you're a part of an incredible organization with an incredible community. And this really hit it on the head for me this morning at 4:45 when I woke up and I saw this in my inbox. So I want to share this with you.
Dr. David McClellan at Harvard did studies for 25 years looking into why it is that some people succeeded greatly in life. What he found was as much as 99% of your success in life is going to be determined by what he called your reference group. Your reference group are the people with whom you habitually associate. What he found in working with people is that changing a person's reference group totally transformed the way they think. Why? It's because we are like chameleons and we absorb through the skin the attitudes, the opinions, the behaviors of the people with whom we associate most of the time. If you start to associate with winners most of the time, you find that they have a totally different worldview. They're positive, they're upbeat, they're focused, they're learning, they're growing, they're positive at what they're doing, and you start to become like. Our relationships determine 85% of our happiness or unhappiness in life. Choose your relationships with care and only associate with people that you like and respect and enjoy being around.
There you go. Something to think about as it relates to
Dr. David
I thought it was an incredible reminder and something I wanted to share with you in advance of who it is that our community is built around and who you're with. So here we go. August Home Run Club. To be honest with you, this is the longest list we've had in probably the last 2 to 3 months, which to me is the highest honor that you can achieve. It means you got paid and it means you're going to continue to get paid because you're doing all the things you should in order to strive to build a big business, right? Handful of people I want to call out on this list. Alicia Wiedmeyer, congrats. Andrea Weichert, Ashley Meyer, Becky Thomas, Benji, B. Pat, Callie Adler, Catherine Cario, Connie, Demara, Deanne Hansen, Dusty, Doreen Drummel, Liz Mitchke, Gail Ganley, Gail Zeman, Jay Schmidt, Jeff Johns, big shout out to Jeff, Jessica, John Lorenz, Molitor, Lauren Foy, Kim Gerdes, big shout out to you, Kim Gerdes, Kirsten Lindstrom, Katie Rinka, Lisa Erdman, Mackenzie Brogan, Melena Cortez, Mike Moen, Nancy Brennan, Nancy Meeks, Natasha, always on this list. Nia Towns, congrats. Nick Fetting, Nick Jensen. I see you, Nick, with those black t-shirts. Everyone's asking you about real estate. Simonis, Nikolic, the two Gossmans, Peter 1 and Peter 2, right? Big shout out, Rob Wessel, Sarah Fiorita, SJD, Sarah Reardon, Shayna, Sheridan Stones, Sandra Schultz, Stacy G, right? Tara Agnew, Terrell Sondrup, congrats, Terrell, Todd Weichert, Tyler Kohler, William Lauer, Zach Donnelly, guys. This is what it's all about. This is the list you want to make. Congrats on a home run club in the month of August. Here we go. $1 Million Month Club in the month of August. Handful of people to call out. Allison Maris balancing between two different cities. Congrats. Ann Kleber, Annie Jerzyk, Becky Thomas, again, Bridget Ty, Kathy Shaw, DJ Frisch, Fred Seeley, Holly, Janine, Holly Speranza, Jean is on here. Jeff John's on here again. Julia Jansky, Carla Florence, Katie Rinka again, Lori Sroke, Lori Flat, congrats, Maggie Drain, my wife Megan, congrats Megs, Molly Gallagher, Molly Triggs, Nancy Meeks, Nick Janisak, Randy Lee, Stephanie Miller, Stephanie Minnick, Will Stale, Zach Donnelly. So here you go. Congrats on $1 Million Month in the month of August. Here you go. Increase in business. This is volume percentage of August this year versus August of last year. Who crushed it? Miller Marriott team, I see you. Sean Nemitz, I see you. Katie Miller, I see you. Nathan, Jason Roman, Mike, Kelly, Leezy, Verche, Sheridan, Karen, Flanagan Group, Tammy, Ashley, Michelle Ekstrom. Congrats on killing your August in an August that was down 14. Here we go. GCI earned for agents on teams. Janine, Dan Wild, Martha, Kathy Shaw, Katie Falk, Steph Minnick, Steph Miller, Kathy Rosenheimer, Kirsten Lindstrom, Will, Maggie Drain, Ginger, Andrea Weichert, Sue Nikolic, Nicole McGonigal. Congrats for those agents on teams. Here we go. Individual August, individual volume. Becky Thomas leading the way at 8.7. It helps when you sell a $7 million house. Kristen Stahulik, Bridget Ty, Kelly Nicolancy, Jeff Johns, Ann Kleber, B. Pat, Jessica, Jean, Carla, Catherine, Ethan, Allison, Melissa, Zach, Fred, Lori, Lindsay Andrews. I see you, Lindsay. Doreen Drummel, Annie Stabler. Here we go. Agents control their units. The market gives you volume. Year-to-date individual units. Again, I want to give a shout out to Lori. If you want to figure out how and ways in which that you get listings, go listen to the conversation we had last week. It's on the YouTube channel. 70% of her business is listings. John Molitor, Oberbrunner, Lindsay, Nick Fetting, Stahulik, Bridget Ty, Melissa Bradley, Ethan, Joey, Jessica, Jeff, Johns, Demara, Jill, Christiane, Kathleen, Betsy, Doreen, Nikki, Kunik. Here we go. Individual volume year to date. Becky Thomas, Bridget, Oberbrunner, Molitor, Williamson, Stahulik, Andrews, Bolton, Hanawi, Florence, Bradley, Pat, John, Soroke, Jaskowski, Fink, Fetting, Monteblano, and Drummel, rounding out the top, I think 15. Here you go, August team volume. The teams, JSG, Falk, Grooven, Stale, Team Trimble, Gallagher, On Point, Double Bolt, Root River, Nikolic, Fernwood, Pluster, Kindred, Moen, Duval, Desties, Champagne, The Wilds, Wessel, and A Key Home. Year to date, team units, JSG, Falk, Grooven, Root River, Stale, Duval, Miller Marriott, On Point, Fernwood, Nikolic, PPG, Fair Hinton, Desties, Team Trimble, Double Bolt, A Key Home, Thrive, Enlighten, Wilds, Champagne, and Foxglove. And here is where it stands year to date for team volume. The reason why I shared with you that video before we did the awards was you are in the presence of highly productive people. And leaning on that community is what will help you navigate the headwinds as to where we are and where ultimately it is that you decide to go. You want to build a team? Let's do it. If you want to be an individual agent and kill it, let's do it. If you want to be an agent on a team, let's do it. We're going to help you get there because the community is strong, the community is thriving, and those that are doing business at a high level are here to support you because someone grabbed them by the hand and said, someone did it for me and I'll do it for you. I'll share the video with you because it was incredibly powerful for me and it made me think about the relationships I had in my life and who I spend my time with. With that, there you go. It's 9:45 a.m. It's September 19th. It's a beautiful day. Let's go kill it and crush it. Lake Country crew, join me for the Lake Country meetup. I think there's a reason why you should. Sound good? Beautiful. Guys, have a beautiful day. Appreciate you. The world is run by those who show up.